Mantra 10. We'll chant once.
Anyate bahurvidyaya anyada puravidyaya iti shushrumadhirana yenastad vichachakshire. Anyate bahurvidyaya anyada puravidyaya iti shushrumadhirana yenastad vichachakshire.
The result of avidya and the result of vidya are distinct and different. This has been taught to us. This has been taught to us. Avidya is the knowledge that makes you feel prosperous, getting better, but actually resulting in sorrow and suffering. So what is avidya? We are giving a different meaning now, not continuity. Now when we take a break, we change the gear also. What is avidya and what is vidya? We saw from one angle. Now we are seeing the same vidya and avidya from different angle, and then we'll come back to iti shushrumadhirana purvesha. We'll come back to that. Avidya is technically called as sakama karma. Sakama karma means karma done with a desire resulting in prosperity. So, in the initial stages, they almost say, do it. They almost say, do it. Because it is not going to give you that many problems. Secondly, by going through the process, at least you will learn there is nothing in it and come out. So in the initial stages, they say, go through avidya for a while. Go through avidya for a while. By going through that, you will know there is nothing in it and you will come out. Blinding darkness. So they are allowing us to go into the blinding darkness. And those who come into vidya, greater than the blinding darkness. What is this blinding darkness? Technically, most of us won't belong to this category. That's why we don't elaborate all that a lot. But it should be known in general also. It should be known in general. What is that? First thing. People come into the spiritual path for the power it gives. The power, the siddhis, the spiritual powers. In fact, that's what they're actually condemning. அது நம்ம லெவலுக்கு ஒரு சைக்கலாஜிக்கல் டெக்ஸ்ட் மாதிரி பேசின்னு இருக்கிறோம். As though it is a treatise on psychology, we are talking all that. It is that and deeper also. So what is vidya? Those who get into all these practices for powers. Loosely called as siddhis. And why they are criticized? Because using those powers, they will start dominating. Using those powers, domination is the intention. So, one way of dominating you is by saying, I have more wealth than you. Another way of dominating you is by saying, I have more powers than you. What is the power? What is it that you all want? Mind control. I am more powerful than you because I can control my mind. Siddhis. There are techniques. They follow that. For what? To show their superiority, and by this superiority, what are they actually seeking again? Same material prosperity. Udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha. Bhajagovinda. All these people are doing this vesha for the sake of the belly. That is Vidya. So if you want to understand Vidya in the way that we have studied, understand this Bhajagovindam verse. Kashayambara bahukrita veshaha. They put this kashaya, they put this ochre robe, and they put up and they have a show of spirituality to prove that they are superior. Why they are in greatest blinded in darkness is because when you take salary in your office, will you fall at the feet of your boss before taking the salary? This fellow here, he will say, pay me and fall at my feet also. And there will be anything blinding. No, this is, are you able to understand the difference now? So there you work, it's paid. There is no prostration and all. Here what? Pay and prostrate also. What arrogance it is. And what makes them to believe they can demand that? Because I am holier than you. Since I am holier than you, what you should do? Fall at my feet and then give the same thing that you are running behind. The same thing that you are running behind, I also want. But the only difference is what? You will work and you will get it. At least that is much better. Here, here it is, what is, you can't even call it as cheating, no? What word you can use for this? The Upanishad says, greater than the blinding darkness. That is another meaning of Vidya and Avidya in the proper Upanishadic sense. We are elaborating it in the way that we can understand also, and they mean something deeper than that also. Why? Because people in their innocence, wanting to get out of their problems immediately, look for Siddhi powers. Again I repeat, people in their innocence, wanting to get out of their problems quickly, they want a quick solution. Out of innocence they are thinking like that there is something. And what these people do? What are they doing? They exploit that. They exploit. Who is a greater fool? Who is in greater darkness? The one who is exploiting the innocence of the other. Blinding darkness it is. They get siddhis. In fact, all the Vedas, Upanishads and all is about these spiritual powers that people talk about. All those spiritual powers comes under one word called Tantra. Tantra na trick nu artham. Tamil la kuda adhe meaning da. Even in Tamil also they say, you romba tandramana aalupa, they say. Tandramana aalu means he can trick you. Trickery it is. Tantra is trickery. So what are they criticizing? They are criticizing the trickery. Shubha. Yeah. That's why suddenly you will find a picture of Shiva smoking a cigarette. I don't know which Shiva started smoking cigarette, but they will say. Suddenly, how Shiva got into that ecstasy, he smelt something. They do all that, you know that? They do all that. You little bit, you come into this hall, little bit of fragrance will be kept here and there. You won't know what went into that. In 15-20 minutes, you start experiencing a divine bliss. And then all will start dancing. Like dancing happened last night. Imagine that 24/7 being done. 40, 400, 4,000, 40,000, 100,000. Where it will lead to? Blinding darkness. Are you able to connect now? Blinding darkness. Why do you have to do that? Udara nimittam Bahukrita Veshaha. Again, this is also done for the sake of the belly. Therefore, in spiritual path, you have to be careful because the very path itself is a superiority. By default, there is a superiority. But then what happens? The mind falls for that. The mind falls for that. And when it falls for that, blinding darkness. Are you okay with this another meaning? This is the deeper meaning of it. It's not the other meaning is wrong or superficial. This is another meaning. And all the Shastras, if we take the traditional commentaries, what all we spoke about that will not be spoken there. This will be spoken a lot. Because in those days, they are actually worried about that. Also, you should understand that innocent society. Upanishad was given in a society where people were more innocent because less information. Today nobody is innocent because everybody knows everything. Yeah. Mata, Pita, Google, Daivama. Somewhere somebody forwarded it to me. I didn't know it. Yeah. We have we have 3-4 friends, and everybody asks me why they don't come, because we have an agreement they should not come, because those 4 are my checkpoints. They are my touchstone. Idella touchstone kadayadu. Those 4, they will tell me, Nada, retreat over? Over. Nalla volari kottirpiye. You would have blabbered so much in that. Yeah. Touchstone. You need to have some touchstone like that. Otherwise, what happens? There is a very Vidya itself gives you a superiority, and all the avidya will look at you with that superiority. What you should do? You should be careful as to not to fall into that trap. Why? Because the very knowledge itself makes you superior. What is the superiority? Knowledge is a magnifying glass. It shows everything so clearly. And when you see everything so clearly, you want to criticize it also that much. In those days, they were so innocent, it wasn't known so much. Are you able to follow? Anger in you is bad, but anger in me is right. Correct? Jealousy in you is wrong, but jealousy in me is legitimate. This is avidya and vidya. This is the difference between avidya and vidya. And who said all this to us? Iti sushruma dhiranam. And elsewhere he says purvesham. Iti sushruma dhiranam. They taught us this very clearly. Thus, we have heard from the wise ones who explained it to us. All that he is saying, and what is he saying finally? What is taught to me is what I am teaching you. The sage who is saying all this, did he not know by himself? Doesn't he know all this by himself? Is he telling us what he has heard? Does he himself not know it? It means it's a second-hand knowledge. It means it's a second-hand knowledge. No. This is something that has to be deeply understood. And it is so unique to Vedic tradition. It is so unique to this tradition. Why? He says, thus have we heard. First thing, no copyright. This is not my discovery. Few points. No copyright. Second, No fear of having to project oneself original. Second point. Otherwise, we all have the problem of having to project ourselves as original. 3. A simple statement of fact. I'll explain all that. A simple statement of fact. This is what we have heard. It's a statement of fact. No problems at all. 4th. We heard it because we were very receptive. If you are also receptive, the same thing happens. Beautiful things. You realize he's not giving all this elaboration. We are developing this. We are developing this beautiful edifice around that one word. All that he said is why? Because it's not only one person saying. When you see an avatar, a Purusha like Krishna saying the same thing. When you see a person like Rama saying the same thing, there has to be something so meaningful in that. Why? Because in receptivity, revelation happens. And receptivity requires a kind of innocence. Almost bordering on blind faith. Receptivity requires a kind of almost like it, but not it is. Revelation means, heard means a very deep psychological truth in it. I touched it on the very first day. The artists get inspired by their own art because it is revealed to the artist also at the same time. Are you able to follow? Artist is so inspired about their own art because it's not a carbon copy. In a carbon copy, there is no revelation. That's why even in music, in some places they come up with something so wonderful there. After the concert, they will say, "This is what I also heard." From where did it come? From the day. Are you able to follow? Why? Because these words comes from moments of inspiration. It's revelation. So, the Rishi is saying, don't think you are only listening for the first time. It looks like I am also listening for the first time. Because it is, practice panna varliye. So much I practice all that. That's why I am giving the comparison of a musician, an artist. Who will be most inspired by that artwork? You know that? The artist. Not the others. If others are getting impressed, that person is wanting to impress others, not an artist. Artist is impressed by their own art. Why? Because it revealed to that person. Because it's not a preparation. It's not you sit and gather from so many places and then come and give a... No. It is such an inspired state. So he says, don't think that you are hearing it. I never know. I also knew it. So instead of saying I knew it, he's saying we heard. Do you know who's that we now? Who's that we now? The Guru and the Sishya becomes one here. Thus we have heard. So who's speaking this? It is Brahman that is speaking. Because Brahman alone can talk about Brahman. Therefore, you are the student, I am the student. We both are hearing this. From another angle. The I has disappeared. Therefore, he can never say, I know. The I has disappeared. Therefore, the person can't say, I know. Lastly, how to show the gratitude? How to show gratitude? This is what I have heard as the gratitude. It's an expression of their gratitude. Are you able to follow? Opposite of that is I. This is what they said, but I have improvised on it and made it better. நீங்க சொன்னீங்க சார், இதை நான் கொஞ்சம் பெட்டரா பண்ணி இப்படி சொல்லிட்டேன். People tell me also. I say very good because I am also hearing. No, I say very good. Genuinely, not. Iti Sushrumadirana. Who spoke to us like that? The wise one of the past spoke to us. No one ever said, I know. Because there is no ego to say, I know. Why can't they objectively say, I know? The way they are continuously slapping, we understood? They know, no. So therefore he need not again and again say, I know. Each and every slap is an indication that they have a very interesting, unique method of teaching. Thus we have heard from those who explained it to us. In the Veela, he is including himself. When he says we have heard, who he is including? Himself. Maybe herself could have. We don't know. Why only himself? At himself. So it says, thus we have heard. So we both are listening to what has been said. So much of effort people make to make it spontaneous. These people don't have that worry and all. They don't have to worry about making it spontaneous. They don't have to worry about making it look very original. They don't have that ego. They don't have all these complications that the ego has. I learnt it. I am saying this. I learnt it. I am saying this. When a person goes to the highest truth, when the person realizes the truth, he cannot say, I have achieved it. Because the I is dropped to the state. It is not, I achieved it. Therefore, he can never say, I know it. It descended on me. That's why all scriptures are called revealed scriptures. Vedas are called revealed scriptures. Moses said, this is the voice of God. So there is always something that is revealed, not sat and wrote. If anybody sat and wrote something, that is given the status of a smriti. To understand, there is a shruti and then there is a smriti. Here we are talking about a shruti. Bhagavad Gita, we call it as a smriti. Because it is somebody sitting and writing it. It's not a... It comes under the category of a smriti. Shruti means that which is heard. Smriti means that which is remembered and retold. Again I repeat. Shruti means that which is heard. Smriti means that which is memorized. So there are two books we have, Shruti and Smriti. And then the third one, Purana, Itihasa, all that. We are not going into that four now. So here it is Shruti. Therefore, he keeps on saying, how many times he hear it? He keeps saying, I am also hearing it. I am also hearing it. The thing heard. We do not create it. What I am teaching you is not my creation. It's a fact. But we all like to say it is my creation. I have achieved it. Because ego finds pleasure in those statements. Ego finds pleasure in ownership. This person has no ownership. Therefore, he says, this is what I heard from my teachers. There is a very beautiful method here. Very, very suggestive they are. These kind of statements are very suggestive. If you are receptive, you will get it. Ego will never make you to be receptive. For ego is very alert for self-survival. So ego will look for addition. Ego will not be receptive. Ego that is looking for Addition appears to be receptive. It's an appearance. That's what happens in all education. Student appears to be receptive, and the word they use is receptive. It's not receptivity. It is requiring an addition, and that also gives you a state of as though you are receiving. But here the receptivity that he's talking about is what? The valuable, the beautiful, the wonderful can be received only by a receptive mind. And what is receptivity? What does receptivity mean? A kind of surrender. It's not wanting to know. He said, I don't want to know. I want to transform. I am not here for knowing. I am here for transforming. Because I have learned so much in the past. I have known so much in the past. And all that knowing has not brought about any change in me. Looking at me saying anger is bad, people have conquered their anger and they have gone above me. I am still stuck in anger. Looking at me saying jealousy is bad, the student learns better and they go. The teacher is still stuck with jealousy. Why? Because no receptivity when it was heard, anger is bad. No receptivity when it was heard, jealousy is bad. Because addition means wanting to show off. Remember that. Any addition is only to show off. Because without that, there is an inadequacy. Having added that, you can show off. Here he is not interested in showing off. Simply says what? Are they not original? Don't they know? No. Today, are you okay till now? Today, everybody wants to claim what one says has never been said before. Upanishadic Rishi doesn't have that problem. He says, what I am saying is what has been told, retold in the same way, without any additions and masala and all. Yeah. How it was received, it will be retold in the same way. That's why the tradition of teaching is so tightly kept that not one word will be added and not one word will be deleted. How do we still have the Isavasyopaniṣad as it was so long in the past? How do we have the same Upanishad which was exactly 5,000 years back in the same manner? What discipline kept it alive in this manner? It's an extraordinary discipline. The Vedic chanting was given as a sample for the discipline. They just simply sit and dedicate their whole life for this discipline. Hear it. As you heard, keep it. And as you have been taught, pass it on. Don't add anything. Don't delete anything. Don't say, oh, this word people will not understand. No, now let me put a better word. Or this word is extra. Remove that word. That's why we are still having the same Upanishad as it was told thousands of years back. In the management classes, they do know. Communicate a message and ask them to repeat. 10th fellow in 10 minutes. What you will hear? Black pant na white pant it will end up, isn't it? Blue tie na red tie it will end up. Isn't it? Why? In 10 minutes communication is so distorted. These people don't do that. That is the culture. That's the tradition. It means you need to have such great regard and gratitude to repeat it. Otherwise, we always want to bring a change. We always want to bring a change. These people don't have that problem of being original. Today that's a very big problem, isn't it? What you are saying must be original. Original does not mean it was not known in the past. Original means from the source. Remember that. The English word original also means it is from the source. That's why if the source is not referred, it will not be accepted. Newspaper is acceptable because source is not needed at all, isn't it? WhatsApp forward, source is not needed. It will not be accepted. You go to a research paper, the source has to be told because you cannot come up with this originally. It's ego to come up and say, I found out all. Immediately at the clerk itself will reject it. Why? Because how can it be like that? So what is the word original means? It means from the source. That's the meaning of the word original. It comes from the source. It's a simple statement of fact to acknowledge the source, no? It's a simple statement of fact. Okay, if you are not a PhD scholar, PhD, master PhD, if you are not acknowledging the source, it's called plagiarism. Stealing. It's stealing. Stealing that and projecting it as though it's mine. Why will they do it? So they say, we don't have all this ego, therefore I can straight away say, this is what I have heard from my masters. And the most exciting, emotional part of the whole Upanishad personally for me is this. Rest and all is so this. Thus we heard from my masters. And when you see Krishna saying, thus we heard from your masters, and anybody who you say, this is what I heard, we have heard, and you see anybody acknowledging the source. There are some papers I have read. I read, even today I read. I am telling the truth now. Now Raj will say, you are also doing the same thing. No sir, he will say. When I see the papers, and when they quote about 120 sources, wow, what a book it is. When they quote 120 sources, you feel like finding out where that person is and prostrating to that person. Because what amount of effort and dedication and humility, and still saying, all this is from these various people. So what I am giving is only a chivda of all that. And I am putting and I am adding my name to it. Iti Shushrumadhiranam. They are extraordinary people. They are so extraordinary. And yet we miss that extraordinariness. Why? Vidya and avidya. Vidya and avidya. The only extraordinary thing is to be ordinary. Long back I read a quote, it's not my quote. I'm still trying to find out that source. The extraordinary thing is to be ordinary. Like they say, common sense is uncommon. No. Common sense is uncommon. No. They are willing to be so common, they are extraordinary. They are willing to be so ordinary, they straight away become so great, so extraordinary. Because they are able to acknowledge the source. In Karma Yoga lifestyle, acknowledging the source is the Pancha Mahayajna. Remember that. We talked about worshipping the gods. We talked about worshipping Deva, Rishi, Pitru, Manushya, Bhuta. Acknowledging the source it is. That is a lifestyle we spoke about. Are you able to connect now? We spoke about a lifestyle where every day you show your gratitude to all these sources. You are simply acknowledging the source. You are simply saying thank you to the source. You are not doing any great favor to anybody there. You are simply acknowledging, saying what? I am today is because of all that. So what you should do to the less? What you should do to the next? Transfer the same knowledge. Don't say, Don't say mine. Don't say mine. This is what I have heard. This is what I have been taught. This is what I have heard. It's not mine. The moment you say it's mine, doors are closed. You can't, no learning happens after that. The moment you say, I don't know, doors for knowing is more. Here these people need not do anything. Why? Because all knowing already. Remember that? These people need not do, because they are all knowing already. They know everything. And still they say, so happy to be a zero. When you are so happy to be a zero, mathematically understand it. When you are so happy to be a zero, you will be after one. If you are not happy to be a zero, you will be a zero before one. Remember that. So simple it is. Isn't it? I am also hearing it so many things for the first time. Zero. Zero. By itself it has just become a zero. You don't have to do anything. Automatically divine will place you after one. Appo meaning irukku. 1 0 becomes 10. Becomes 0. 100. Becomes 0. 1000. Very soon Purnam. Very soon you will hit that Purnatvam state. But the ego says, place me before one. By doing that, it is making itself useless. Because millions of zeros before one has no value. These people know that. So they have simply said, I am happy to be a zero. Milton. They also serve who stand and wait on his blindness. They also serve who stand and wait. But the ego always wants to say, I'm slightly better. After coming to the classes, I'm feeling slightly better. Ignorance is not the problem. Ego is the problem. This is what I heard from my teachers. Are you able to connect now? What is the problem? Ego is the problem, not ignorance. Who taught me that? I found out, sir. From my own experience, I found out. But sir, experience is the best teacher, no? How much ever and all, it is only theoretical, but at least you should experience it, no? What is the answer to that? If experience is the best teacher, you would have become Gautam Buddha by now. Because so much of experience you have heard and nothing is being learnt out of it. Therefore, you should never say, from my experience I know. You should always say, this is what I have been taught. This is what I have been taught. In a receptive state, I heard it. If you also want to hear it, get into that receptive mode. In a very normal way, they say, always the Sishya Bhava. The Guru is one who has a Sishya Bhava. The Sishya have the Bhava of the Guru. Look at the paradox in life. The student talks like the teacher and the teacher is talking like the student. It is Sishya Bhava, the attitude of the student. Even when they can boldly say, I know it, I am telling you. They can say that. They have in fact, they are the only person who have the privilege to say, I know it, I am telling you. They only have that privilege. Because they are so wise, they know exercising this privileges and all is childish. Correct? Privilege is given, but to exercise it is childish, isn't it? Child only will want to immediately cash in on that privilege. A wise person says, mantra only சொல்லிட்டாங்களே, Mahagrida Kasya svidhanam. Isavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjitam magrida kasya svidhanam. Who will want to cash in immediately? Children will do that. The wise one will not do that. Thus, we have heard from our great masters who expounded thus. இவ்வளோ சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க முடியறதுக்கு காரணம்னா அவங்க அப்படி சொல்லிக் கொடுத்துருக்குறாங்க. They have taught so well that we are able to expound it like this. Look at the beauty there. We are able to talk like that because we are able to expound it like that because they have. That's how so beautifully it was taught, so wonderfully it was taught that it just seeped in. It just seeped in. Not like rain in Dubai soil. Rains, it should soak, no. Straight away it flows, now what is the point? Not like rain in the desert soil. It's like rain in the fertile soil. Beautiful things comes out of it. The results are different. The result is different. You can never get a literature so devotional like Upanishad. It's just pure devotion. Devotion to the core, which is unimaginable. Because devotion to the core, he is simply saying thank you. That is devotion at the core. Prayer actually it's not prayer at all. It is simply saying thank you. Having expounded it all this so beautifully, wonderfully, this person is saying, this is what I heard. Iti sushrumadhiranam enas tadvija chakshire. And what they taught us, first you will come with ignorance and go back with ego. Don't do that. Are you will follow? You will come with ignorance and go back with ego. You should come with ignorance and go back with knowledge, not ego. The vidya or avidya, that is the pun in the words. Sunil, are you able to follow now? You come with ignorance and you will go out with ego. What you should do actually, you should come with ignorance and go out as iti sushrumadhiranam. We should go out, not with ego. So the Guru says, with ignorance you came to me. Now that I am looking at you, you are becoming more egoistic. Vidya and avidya. Avidya is not that problem. Because of avidya you came to me. Now having come to me, when I am looking at you, I can look at you becoming more arrogant, more egoistic. Therefore I have to correct. At some point of time it is getting very irritated. So he says, thank you, and leaves. Thank you is just a social convention. I am running away is the meaning there. I am running away, but I won't say I am running away. I am simply saying I will. Thank you. Why? Because come with ignorance and go out egoistic. Vidya and avidya. You come with ignorance, that is acceptable. That's not a problem at all. Instead of removing the ignorance, don't fortify the ego. That's why so-called spiritual people ego is more dangerous. The benevolent ego is more dangerous. There are two egos now. According to the Upanishadic sage, which ego is more dangerous? The ego that says I am doing you good is the dangerous ego. Benevolent ego is more dangerous. Why? Because the benevolent ego has the notion, I know. So of the two ego, which is more dangerous? Benevolent ego. Are you okay till now? Seriya? That's why the parental ego is most dangerous. சொல்ல வேணான்னு பார்த்தேன், but wanting to avoid that, but I have to say it also. That's why the parental ego is the most dangerous ego. Why? Because it assumes a stance that benevolent. It assumes a stance of benevolence. The moment I take the benevolent stance, the person believes anything I do is right. Anything அவன் நல்லதுக்கு தானே சார் சொல்கிறேன். Does that mean anything you say is right? Does that mean anything you do is right? No. Why? Because your benevolent is a notion. What you think as a benevolence is nothing but blinding darkness, greater than the blinding darkness. Because in order to be benevolent, you should become a zero. Then only you can become benevolent. Having a tight ego, you can never become benevolent. How will ego, more ego stay? The 5 days, so much I have learned. How people in the world are all bad. I understood it very well now. Gosh. You came with ignorance and go back with ego. You came with ignorance and go back with ego. So he'll pull back again. Another retreat. Chumma solrana, I have no plans of doing anything. Iduve for something else. No plans and all. Another retreat. The teacher says, you coming with ignorance is understandable, acceptable. But going back with ego is detrimental. It's better that you didn't come here. It is better if you have not come here. Ego subdue arthuk badala, ego has become more erect. Body is prostrating, ego standing erect. He says ego prostrate anopor, body prostration is not required at all. This we have heard. From whom? From the great masters. And you go to who's that great master, you find out and go, that person says, this is what I heard from my master. So what they did, finally you need to have a Guru Parampara shloka, no? Finally, you have to know the entire parampara, no? So what they did, Sadashiva Samarambam, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Who is the first Guru? You go back. Divine becomes the first Guru. So down the line, who's teaching? Divine only is teaching. So how can anybody claim I am teaching? So who's teaching all along? It's the divine that is teaching. Okay. Raghu, unga tradition la Narayanam, Padmabhubam, Yogindram, Abram, Vande Guru Paramparam, it will conclude. That Vande Guru Paramparam will not change. Fight in Narayanara, Sadashivava. Here we say let them fight it. We understand one thing. What? Divine is the source. Divine is the source. Whichever name you want to fight with, you keep fighting with. But the divine is the original source. Thus we have heard. I want to spend some time on this devotion aspect of the Upanishad, which is so beautiful and so wonderful. Carefully remember, we will repeat it again at the end, where the prayer that is so meaningful after the effort. A prayer becomes meaningful only after the effort. Not a substitute for effort. It's not as a substitute. Prayer is that it is the crescendo, the climax of effort is prayer. We don't see it like that. Where effort ends, what is the culmination of effort? You have to end in prayer. Then only effort is complete. Effort result na, it is very egoistic. Effort, prayer, wait. Divine comes. Thus we have heard. Thus we have, are you able to follow? Effort and the culmination of effort, the grandeur of effort, it ends. The crescendo of effort is prayer. And that's a beautiful prayer. We are going to see that also. Drama of self-realization, we'll see that prayer. Where does it start? It starts here, the devotion. Iti sushruma dhiranam. Iti sushruma dhiranam. Iti sushruma dhiranam. Bhagavad Gita. Iti sushruma purvesham. Iti sushruma purvesham. Purvesham. Few words in the Upanishad is enough. You can go on and you can dig. More you dig, suddenly you feel, oh my God, much more is to be got. Another time limit vechirrathu. So the digging stops. Digging stops at some point. Conclude with the prayer experience and move on. Otherwise, digging becomes an entertainment. Are you able to follow? At some, why they stop at some point? Because otherwise, digging becomes an intellectual entertainment now. Oh, new. Very nice. Time limit. Time I thought closed. Enough. Prayer and move. We all think prayer substitutes effort. Upanishad is saying the culmination of effort is prayer. The crescendo of effort is prayer. And what is that prayer? Iti sushruma purvesham. Iti sushruma dhiranam. They taught us the difference between Vidya and Avidya. They taught us the difference between Vidya and Avidya. Mantra 12. Sorry, Mantra 11. Mantra 11.
Vidyam cha yastadvedo vayagumsaha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya mritamashnuti vidyam cha yastadvedo vayagumsaha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya mritamashnuti.
He who knows these two, avidya, ignorance, and vidya, knowledge together, having overcome death through avidya, attains immortality through vidya. He will not stop confusing. One with above. The moment we think we got some understanding, he comes up with some new story again. What is the new story that is giving here? He who knows these two, Vidya and Avidya together, having overcome death through Avidya, attains immortality through Vidya. So what is the difference? How to elaborate all this? Actually, you should sympathize with the person who conducting this retreat. No? Isavasyopaniṣad. Because what point is allowing us to have a breathing space? A very rare mantra. So unique. Avidya, you will overcome death. Vidya, you attain immortality. What is the difference between the two now? Because he is segregating. He should have said, those who know these distinctions attain immortality is a very, very clear statement. We also would have said, thank you, Abada Purunjitanu. Now he is saying, through avidya you will overcome. Through avidya you will overcome death. Through vidya you will attain immortality. Completely giving ulta meaning to vidya and avidya. Completely changed. How can you not get angry? How can you not get irritated? By the time you think Abada, you come up with another new twist in the same word. Why can't you use different words and make it clear? No, he doesn't do that. Through vidya, you attain immortality. Through avidya, you conquer death. Because all along we have heard, conquering death means conquering change. Conquering change means you have attained immortality. Isavasyopaniṣad is saying, that is also wrong. Where do we start now? One kind of knowledge temporarily postpones death. Another kind of knowledge gives you immortality. Again I repeat, one kind of knowledge postpones death. Another kind of knowledge gives you immortality. To understand this, you need to look at the human history of what we call as development. Look at the human history of what we call as development. All the activities, all endeavors is towards what? Against sickness, against death. So, if you are a master in avidya, you can conquer death, meaning you can postpone it. So, what is the benefit of avidya? Postponement. Vidya, immortality now. Idoda confuse pannave mudiyadhu sir. Mantra is more easier than the explanation. It means you have to give a new meaning to this vidya and avidya. So if you look at all the human efforts for the last thousands and thousands of years, it's directed towards what? To see that life does not end. To see that it is preserved. To see that it is preserved, it does not end. Medicines is for what? Engineering is for what? Medical sciences is for what? Put up a house for what? So that I am not exposed to dangers, I will not die. Medicines is for what? Sickness. Therefore, I will not die. So, by doing all this, avidya develops a hope. What is the hope? It has conquered. It's a pun again. It has conquered. Whereas the reality is, we have simply postponed. And the very postponement itself is a tremendous satisfaction. Are you okay till now? Postponing is which guna of the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas? Bharat. Tamo guna. That's why in one sentence we say all scientific things will end up in tamo guna. People get very irritated. Idhukku IIT, IIM la poirukave vana. Isn't it? Raghu, correct, no? We should not have gone for. There's no need to have gone all that to come back. For what? There are three gunas, human beings, sattva, rajas and tamas. There are three gunas of human beings, sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva is contemplative thinking. Rajas is agitated action. Tamo guna is postpone, procrastinate, postponement. All that we are attempting in life is what? To procrastinate. All discoveries are made for what? Amar. That's why, sir, this country didn't improve at all. See America? They are so advanced. 10 years back, 1 in 5 is depressed. Now, 1 in 3 is depressed. Want an advancement, postponement it is. Criticizing science and criticizing material growth, we didn't grow at all, sir. Results are different. The result of avidya is different and the result of vidya is different. Iti sushruma purvesham. Iti sushruma purvesham. And how they understood it? By sheer penetrative capacity they understood it. By sheer thinking they understood it. Not having to create all this, suffer and then understand. Are you able to follow? How did they understand it? By sheer thinking. Their thinking is so precise, so sharp, so penetrative. They could understand it. Example. I'll just give a simple example. The Vedas declare, the Vedas say, trees should not be cut. When it was said? When it was only full of trees. When the whole place is full of trees and to find a small piece of land, cultivable land is so difficult, at that time the Veda says, don't cut. What a vision that is. For that vision we say, iti sushruma urvesham. Today, summit after summit, isn't it? For what? We have to preserve the environment. And the summit causes maximum damage to the... And the summit alone causes... Because all blind people sitting together, talking about all this, plans after plan, one after the other, finally ending where? Blinding darkness greater than the blinding darkness. Don't use the word blinding darkness. Use the word greater than the blinding darkness. Does that mean we should not grow at all? Does that mean we should not improve at all? Upanishad will look back and say, define growth first. Ask yourself, what is growth? Have you ever paused and asked, what is growth? Don't ask all these questions, sir. Chumma story mari ketti to forget it. Because if you start asking all these questions, you will be in serious trouble. And it is recorded also. Yeah. Disclaimer. We are not responsible for the madness that will come out of this question. What is growth? Thank God you don't ask this question. You are in avidya comfortably. The moment you ask this question, what is growth? Like he says, the carpet under your feet is pulled. There is no solid ground to stand after that. But we have assumed growth means if you can postpone sickness, if you can postpone death, if you can protect yourself from the elements, this is growth. And craving for the growth, running behind the growth will give you a notion that you have conquered death. See, imagine if the parts can be replaced so continuously in a human being, the human will continue to live for another 50-60 years, no. Heart is gone, put a heart. You will live for another 20 years. A knee joint is gone, put another knee joint. You will live for another 20 years. Brain is gone, put another brain. You will live for more years, sir. We keep keeping those. I'm not saying don't do all that, please. If anybody need organ transplant, please go. If you have sickness, please go to the doctor. Prasad mattu pohadinga. Go to doctor, not to Prasad. Because he's the only doctor who carries medicines around, isn't it? And anybody he sees, he'll give you one medicine. And don't go to him. Other than him, go to any doctor, I mean. Not Prasad. Yeah. Is that correct, no? A new situation we have gotten into. A new peculiar situation we have gotten into. What is it? all that we do as procrastination is being glorified as extraordinary. That is avidya. All that is procrastinating the fact, all that is hiding the fact, all the dust is pushed under the carpet, and that is seen as growth. Extraordinary. In Dubai we grow wheat, sir. Why you have to go to Dubai and grow wheat? Might as well grow wheat. Leave Dubai leave the desert as it is. No. I will go there and I will do. Why? Because that is growth. Don't get upset. Don't get angry at me. Find that man who said all this and show your anger. Rajvel. Because he is saying what? Result, through avidya you will conquer death. Through vidya you will conquer, you will attain immortality. Immortality comes to a person who welcomes death. The moment you welcome death, you attain immortality. That's all the mantra is. I think you will have stories over. Then it becomes clear. Are you able to follow? One who can attain immortality, one who can welcome death. Because we see death as an end. That's why we want to escape from that. When we understand there is no end, where is the problem? Are you able to follow the difference now? Where you understand there is no end, you will never have this difficulty. Wherever science has been successful, death is pushed away a little bit. And how much ever you push, the divine says, I know how to bring the balance back. I know how to bring the balance back. So Veda says, don't make nature and all angry to restore, simply obey the law. What a beautiful lifestyle it is. Are you able to follow? Don't make nature get angry. Simply obey. Okay, you will have a toothache. So what? Pull the tooth out. That's all. Pull the tooth out. But I can't eat muruku after that. I can't muruku. So what if you... So, having eaten muruku, what has happened? Nothing has happened. Muruku means ash. I'll tell you to give the... So, I have to go for an implant now. And that implant, that fellow will ask what all you want in that implant. Now I am thinking, should I do it or not? Why all this? Through avidya, you postpone because you think it is anti-life. You think death is anti-life. It's not anti-life. Your life is complete only on the day you die. You know that? When can you say you have lived a full life? Birth certificate, death certificate. Rendu irundha, life is full. Only birth certificate and no death certificate. Life is incomplete. You know that? Very depressive, sir. Now, iti sushruma purvesham solitu. Now you are making it so. Thus, we have heard from our masters who said the facts of life so simple that there is no fear of facing anything. There is no fear of facing anything. Avidya makes you a coward of pain. Pain is enough to make a person a coward. Correct, no? Pain makes a person coward. Knowledge says, walk along with the pain, what will happen? He's not saying no pain. It's saying, walk along with it. When you are walking, the pain also will walk with you. Yes, sure. When you walk, the pain also will walk. Simply walk. What will happen? Leg will go. Let it go. I will die. Oh, that is the best thing to happen. Height of gratitude is to say, Rajve, I will want the same wife, same father, same mother. You know that? Height of gratitude in life is to say, given a choice, I will want the same father, same mother, same wife also. Another Rajvel, I said. No, correct? See, that is the height of gratitude, where you can say, otherwise you always want something different, isn't it? அதுக்கு ராஜ்குமார் ரிசர்ச்லாம் வேற பண்ணாரு. There is one person called Rajkumar here. Rajkumar, are you here? Jayendra Nilungo, I can't see you. I can't see you. Okay. Now we are not going to talk about this Rajkumar. Somebody else we are talking, not this Rajkumar. Because Rajkumar is Purnam. So, he did a research. I asked him. He has still statistics he has. Rajkumar, all that's erased are still there. Still there, no? Shubha. I know. Still there. And the research. Participants. Who are the participants? They should have been married 50 years minimum. 50. And then go and ask. Next Janma, will you want the same person? Answer is? Rajkumar, what is the answer? No.
Percentage?
100%. 100%. He didn't come to me. If he had come to me, I would have said same wife. Because you get used to know why go and suffer. Might as well just stick to one and be done with it. No. What a life we live. Vidya and avidya. This is Vidya and this is avidya. The moment you can welcome, you are grateful, it's not anti-life. It's not anti-life. So, one kind of knowledge believes it is anti-life. Another kind of knowledge is the truth. So, the knowledge that says the truth you attain immortality, the knowledge that is anti-life postpones certain things. So, what are they saying? Don't cross the boundary. And today, we have crossed the boundary. We talk about ecological sensitivity, ecological disturbance, carbon footprints, and every flight you take, we plant 100 trees on your behalf. Stop taking the flight, no. Why destroy the tree, build an airport, and then go and put another 100? But that is growth, sir. Otherwise, how will economy grow? Through avidya, you will attain. You will postpone death. Through vidya, you will attain immortality. Understand this difference between the two. And who taught us this? Isavasyopaniṣad. From the beginning, they have been teaching us this. So, we are all very ecology conscious. Iti sushruma purvesham. They have said it already. Iti sushruma. You say anything, they would have said that. And we have no problems in accepting that. This is mantra 11. Now 12, 13 and 14. Same thought. Instead of vidya and avidya, he just replaces the word sambhuti and asambhuti. And why he repeats it? Because the message. Now we are going to repeat the lectures again. He did it. People will get up and run away. So what we will do, we will read the mantras and we will read the meaning. Understand wherever you see the word asambhuti and sambhuti, understand it as avidya and vidya. Why then two different words? Same words becomes a lullaby. Same words becomes a same monotonous tone, isn't it? Background doesn't change. Lights doesn't change. The tone also doesn't change. Such a good recipe for lullaby. To wake up, two new words. Because he's playing with the word vidya and avidya. So, how to make you alert again to this wonderful concept? Instead of vidya and avidya, he uses the word sambhuti and asambhuti, and grammatically both means the same. Because there is no Sanskrit student here, we cannot go into the grammar and prove how both are one and the same. But it is one and the same. Soltarnu ketin pointe irukku. Vidya and avidya means asambhuti and ambhuti. So what we will do, we'll read the mantra, the translation, we'll read the mantra, the translation, we'll read the mantra and translation. Evening we will summarize again. Evening we'll try to summarize the whole thing again. It means we are not losing anything. Well put. One nimisham. Yes, Bharat? Yes. 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 Yes.
Way of. So, if it is conditioned, that means it is not right.
Yes. Yes.
So, unless we know there is something, we will not ask that question, right?
Yes.
So, how? So, unconditioned mind, we don't even know.
Yes.
So, where does this word ignorance really come from? Because, am I clear?
Yes.
No?
Is it clear to anybody?
No.
What Bharat is asking is, I'll rephrase it. What he is asking is, the very basis of ignorance, the very notion of ignorance, as in Moola Avidya, where does it come from? Because all ignorance is always about of what? First statement. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of physics, ignorant of chemistry, ignorant of this place, ignorant of... So it is always about a specific ignorance. Now, what is that? He's not using that word, I am using that word. What is that primordial ignorance that we say? It is unconditioned. Correct? Huh? That's what you are saying.
I don't know what primordial is.
Yes, that's why I'm using that word. That's why I'm using some word too, just to shut you up. Primordial ignorance means the very basis of this conditioning is what all the time we can be aware of. From where is the notion of unconditioning coming from? Where is the very notion of unconditioned coming from? Correct? That's what you are asking. That is primordial ignorance, the fundamental root. From where does it come from? The answer is, it never is there. It never is there. You are the one. You means not you. It is kept by believing there is a specific knowledge to overcome the specific ignorance. So the fundamental unconditioned state never became conditioned at any point. Example, remember the rope and snake example. Even when you see a snake, even when you are experiencing a snake, a person misunderstands rope to be the snake. That's example. A person misunderstands a rope to be a snake. Even when you are seeing a snake, even when you are experiencing a snake, was there a snake? No. Similarly, even when I am experiencing conditioning, as in of what? This is the answer now. The moment you say of what, you have become extrovert and searching outside. who is the one who's asking of what, you turn inside. Are you able to follow the answer? That's the difference. The moment you say of what, you start looking for answers outside. That is extrovert. Who is the knower asking of what? Instantly what happens? The attention from outside, it goes inside. That's the answer. It's not from of what makes you extrovert. The one who's asking of what? The moment I say of what, a knower is pretending he can know. Are you able to follow? When I say of what, there is a knower pretending a possibility that I can know. But the answer is what? What is the answer? What is the distance between knower and the known? No distance at all. We saw that already. 0. That's the answer. There is no distance at all. Is it okay, Bharat? Think about it. Yes, Rajveer.
Sir, I just came to this class.
This is what he's saying for the last 10 years. Yes.
Mantra enna, slogam enna. Appo neenga sonninga mantra is from Vedic period, slogam.
Yes.
My understanding was so poor. So, ipo kuda in the class not getting into much depth. In 2-3 sentences, I'll say what I'm taking. Just tell me, is it enough? But நிறைய பேர் ரொம்ப இன்டெப்தா பேசும்போது நமக்கு ஒண்ணுமே புரியலையோ அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஃபீலிங் இருக்கு. ஸோ ஒன்று வந்து பூர்ணம் அப்படிங்கிற வார்த்தையே எனக்கு புரிஞ்சு, வார்த்தையிலே ஃபுல் அர்த்தம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு தோணுச்சு. அப்புறம் 2 லைஃப் ஸ்டைலில் ஐ டேக் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைஃப் ஸ்டைல் பிகாஸ் ஐ கேன் அஃபோர்ட் டு போயிட்டு டெய்லி பயங்கரமா ஆக்ஷன் அதெல்லாம் இருக்க வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. ஐ டேக் தட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ நேத்தி கிளாஸ்ல வாட் ஐ வாஸ் கெட்டிங்னா ஒன்னஸ். இப்போ எனக்கு யாராச்சும் டிஎம்கே பத்தி பேசினாலே பயங்கர டென்ஷன் ஆயிடும். அது ஆனா நேத்தி அந்த கிளாஸுக்கு பிறகு ஐ தாட் ஒன்னஸ்னா ஓகே எவ்ரிபடி இஸ் தேர், சோ somebody is here, somebody is there. அவங்களுக்கு கொடுத்த ஆக்ஷன் அவங்க பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. எக்ஸாக்ட்லி. இன்னும் நம்ம யாரை நினைச்சோம் the hatedness நமக்கு வேண்டாம். Very good, Rajveer. You have understood. அப்புறம் இன்னைக்கு நான் என்ன நினைச்சேன், if your hatred for DMK goes, you are very close to moksha. DMK is one political party here. He has such a content for the those they do it is going all the time, you know. Now continue. அப்புறம் நார்மலா வந்து when somebody talks about marketing sales எல்லாம் பேசும்போது நான் அப்படியே ரொம்ப பேசாதீங்க, ஷார்ட்டா சொல்லுங்க, நான் பாத்துக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஃபீல் இருக்கும். ஸோ இன்னைக்கு நான் என்ன நினைச்சேன் அப்படின்னா, இனிமே அதெல்லாம் நம்ம சொல்லக்கூடாது. கரெக்ட். தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ கரெக்ட். அவங்க சொல்றதை கேட்டுக்குவோம், நமக்கு என்ன தெரியுதோ அதை நம்ம ஆட் பண்ணி விடுவோம். ஸோ we need not tell them that I have got so much experience, I know this, I have done it அப்படின்ட்டு. இதான் இன்னைக்கு லேர்னிங். வெரி குட். அது போதும். இதுக்கு மேல வேணாம். பிரைமார்டியல் இக்னோரன்ஸ் கண்டிஷன் அதெல்லாம் விட்டுருங்க. டோன்ட் வரி அபவுட் ஆல் தட். திஸ் இஸ் மோர் தென் enough. Abba, what a relief now. Yes. That's what I'm telling him. The hatred. See, this is a wonderful. That's why I like Rajveer so much. People get very, why is he so this? You know, I talk about him a lot. So innocent, he is so sweet. Hatred of DMK Udunga Rajveer. You will become. You will attain immortality. Okay, Dvesha, no. Correct. That's how you learn. Mantra 12. 12? Yeah, 12, 13, 14.
Andham tama pravishanti ye sambhuti mupasate tato bhuya hipate tamoya usambhutya gurataha anya devahu असम्भवात् अन्यदा पुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमधीराणाम् येनस्तद्विचक्षिरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयगुंसः विनाशेन मृत्युं तीर्त्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते.
First, mantra 12. Those who worship Asambhuti, matter, enter into blinding darkness. Those who revel in Sambhuti origin enter as it were into greater darkness than that. Origin patti kelvi kekkaravanga go into greater darkness than the blinding darkness. Because that's what he is saying, no? So don't ask any questions about origin. Because if you ask any question about origin, Raj, you will enter into greater than blinding darkness. Yaar solranga adha? Avardhan solraru. Those who worship Asambhuti matter enter into blinding darkness. But those who revel in Sambhuti origin enter as it were into greater darkness than blinding darkness. Why? Because it becomes a futile intellectual exercise where you will be hitting against the wall again and again and again. It's a dead wall there. You cannot penetrate that. You cannot penetrate that wall of wanting to know the origin. So, what is he saying? Those who worship Asambhuti enter into blinding darkness. Those who revel in Sambhuti enter as it were into blinding darkness greater than the blinding darkness. Same concept, Vidya and Avidya. Mantra 12, what is he saying? Mantra 13. Mantra 13 he is saying, I didn't hear only, anyway, they are saying it is, so accept it. So Mantra 13. Mantra 13 he says, the wise have declared that the result of Sambhava origin and Asambhava matter are distinct and different. Same words, only Vidya to Avidya, Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Thus have we heard from those who have expounded that to us. Iti Sushruma Dhiranam, same word, not a word changed. Iti Sushruma Dhiranam, Enastadvicha Chakshire. Then mantra 14. He who knows these two, Sambhuti and Asambhuti, origin and Vinasha perishable together. Vinasha is another name for Asambhuti. Vinasha is another word for Sambhuti. Having overcome death through Vinasha, attains immortality through Sambhuti. Just different Sanskrit words, meaning the same. Those who worship one go there. Those who worship that attain the immortality. Those who worship the senses become sensual. Those who worship the ego becomes egoistic. Those worshipping means following. The word worship implies following. Those who follow the senses become sensual. Those who follow the ego becomes egoistic. Those who gain the proper knowledge attains immortality. Thus we have heard from the wise person. Thus we have heard from the wise person who has declared that. This is the mantra up to 14. 15, 16 and 17 is very simple. Drama of realization. It's like a movie that is. Movie which we don't understand anything at all. It's like a Chinese movie watching, isn't it? You don't know the Chinese language without subtitles. You won't even know anything, isn't it? Or Korean serial. Because everybody watches Korean serial nowadays, isn't it? Huh? Correct, no, Sunil? You don't know, huh? Sai. Correct, Korean, Sai. Yeah. Korean serial. It is like watching a Korean serial without subtitles. Looking at that, you get some vague idea where they may be saying exactly the opposite of what you understand. That is drama of realization. 15, 16 and 17. So what we will do in the evening, we will quickly revisit Sambodhi and Asambodhi. We will quickly do that, and then we will